Everything is the past, and what you're looking at right now is far more like a life review than life unfolding afresh before your eyes. And when you accept that everything before you is merely a reflection of a state of mind, and you understand that there can be often a slight delay in apprehension, then what you're looking upon is very much the past. It's very much the old world order. And if you carry on like you always have, and continue to do what you've always done, and expect what you've always expected, then you'll be out of step with not only the world you seem to be living in, but out of alignment with the mind. When we must first align with the mind, and then everything will seem to come into alignment on the screen. You can't do it in reverse. You must seek to see what is out of alignment in the mind. You must pause from the worldly activities and step back in order to be able to fully see what the communication is. Because when you're immersed in the minutiae, you can't see what the communication is, because you're fighting individual little tiny fires and you're not really seeing where the wind is blowing from. You're not seeing what the cause and effect connection is that seems to be accusing you of guilt on the screen. You can't see where it's coming from in the mind, where the story is coming from, what the communication of the story is meant to show you. This is a benevolent universe. This is a wake-up world. It's not coming to condemn you, but the pointing finger of guilt is showing you very acutely and very clearly something that you believe and are holding against yourself. A guilt that you are hanging on to in the mind because it's attached to a desire for something other than peace and is harnessed with a set of beliefs and conflicting desires that have yet to be questioned and released. And that's the invitation. That's why you can't carry on in your life as normal. Because you've actually realized there is nothing normal about your life. And so you must prepare and simplify what seems to be your daily activities, your involvement in extraneous activities and relationships and affairs, and come back to that singular, simple, stepped back simplicity, where you have a list of do only that, where you get clear on your backdrop guidance, what's essential and what's not. And that's not even as easy as it sounds. It may be simple to simplify, but it's not always clear to us what is too much and what's not guided and what's not given anymore. Often it's because something was given before and it was truly helpful at that time for where the mind was at in unwinding from this false cause and effect universe and this little self-concept, this character self we believe ourselves to be. But now is a hindrance if we maintain it. And so rather than saying, but I was allowed, I was supposed to, I was told I could, we really want to focus on how everything we're watching in the world is making us feel, what the thoughts are that are associated with it, what are the deep beliefs that maybe have been unquestioned because they seemed noble, and what are the conflicting desires that have yet to be relinquished because they're in opposition to peace. Now, the Spirit can harness all of our desires on behalf of peace if we hand them over. So there's no sacrifice involved in this. But once you start to actually see that the hot coal in your hand that used to be something you desired is burning you and causing you pain, it becomes very easy to drop it. It's very easy relinquish a desire that you see is only causing you pain and not giving you ultimately what you wanted, which is peace. So when we choose the peace of God as our one goal, it is like the whole drop-down menu of separate desires disappears. They're all included. If they can be helpful, they'll be utilized. You don't need to pick between things. You don't need to focus on one desire over another, except for peace. You choose peace because ultimately peace, contentment, happiness, however you want to understand it in your own mind, is what you truly desire. It's what you desire anything else for. All the separate little ideas and beliefs in the world that you have itemized and carved out and given names to. I desire that car, I desire that person, I desire that job, I desire that bank account number, I desire all of those separate desires. You only wish to attain them to have peace, to have peace of mind. So it's much easier, much faster to choose peace of mind first. And that's what we do. We choose peace first, understanding that the peace of God contains everything I want. Because the peace of God is the understanding that you have and are everything. So what could be excluded from that? And in this relaxed back position of watching and waiting upon the Lord, of waiting to be shown, we too often jump in to finagle and fix, and we miss the full correction in our perception that the Holy Spirit's attempting to relay to us in the most gentle and kind and undulating fashion that won't be frightening or, averse to us in any way. If we merely sit and wait and watch, everything will be made clear. Everything will be shown to us. If immediate steps are given to you to take in your life to allow for this simplification, again, get really clean and clear on exactly what the bare minimum is that's needed for you to do for that to happen. I've discovered in my life that it is generally a removing of something that simplifies everything, rather than an attaining of something that simplifies everything. So there's what we call an add-on that's occurred. It could be just in the day. It could just be an add-on thought. It's some personal sense of pressure or priority or a link of false cause and effect. And once we question that little link, all the pressure is reduced, and it's very easy to either do or simply, as more likely, not do the action. When that causes us a strain in even trying to figure out or fundamentally, come to a new beginning point with the Spirit, then again, don't even try and do that. Sit back further. Sit back and cuddle in with the Comforter and say, this feels like a lot. This feels overwhelming. This feels confusing. I am confounded. That is my experience right now. I keep inserting myself and attempting to do something in the world, even figure this out, even how to simplify my life. I'm getting over involved in it. And I really want to rest back and trust that everything has already been handled. I want to sink back and accept the atonement for myself. Accept that everything is forgiven. And even anything that may seem helpful to unfold from here, that you will do it through me. That I won't have to figure it out or make it happen. That it will be as simple as my hand feeling involuntarily lifted to press that button or put down that phone. It isn't meant to be an isolated, persevering struggle. That is literally the opposite of what guidance is for. And when we feel that overwhelm and we feel that burden, then we're not equally yoked. That's what it says in the Bible. Be ye equally yoked. And the one we are meant to be equally yoked with is Christ, because it is He that does it through us. And when we come into a present experience of being done through, all the weight and all the false responsibility and all the false responsibility for outcomes and form falls off our shoulders. We are equally yoked. The pressure is immobilized and not felt at all. Merely a harness to help us actually glide forward, rather than a heavy weight to hold on our own. And so the invitation becomes very, very clear that our function is to take the second place, to be the little child, and to follow the grace that is given. You must expect grace to be given. You must expect the unexpected to happen, to allow things to unfold in your life in miraculous ways that will just simply drop the shackles from the mind and allow you to proceed in peace. And that's what we're going for, that release point in the mind. You have to, first of all, believe that it's there. You have to feel and find within yourself the attraction to that. You have to see the lack of competition, the lack of control, of being controlled by something other than you. You have to see the singular will involved in that. You have to, like Rules for Decision advises, feel the feeling you would like to feel, the freedom, the relief, the release of giving over, of yielding a heavy burden that is not yours, a false responsibility that is not yours, that you have taken on as a protective device because you think it keeps you safe, because you think you should know something, because you think you should be doing something, because you think it's up to you. And it's not. Your part is very small. But let's put our focus now on what your small part is. Your small part is acceptance. Your small part is a welcome, where you just say, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, I accept. I accept that you're sharing with me that forgiveness has already happened and that everything is forgiven, past, present, and future. All thoughts that could be heavy on my mind, that this need not be. Thank you. Thank you. That's wonderful to know. Thank you for that. I'm going to sit with that and take it as deep as I can into my heart and let it offer me in this moment as much relief as I can. And then when I find and come to a little edge of it where I still feel the fear, I'll just come back to you with that and ask you to help me with the conditions that are keeping that fear in place. Because I am certain that the only thing you want for me is present peace. Because you've told me that future happiness is not my just reward. And so I'll come back to you again and again and again and lean in deeper and deeper in my heart whenever I come up against that bump that says, oh, but what if? And again, relax back into the comfort of the truth that everything is forgiven.